Plateau State Governor, that's Caleb Mutfwang, has called for calm following his election nullification by the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja. Mutfwang noted that his election was ordained by God and will not abandon the people of the state. Mutfwang of the People's Democratic Party had polled 525,299 votes to defeat the All Progressives Congress candidate, that's Dr. Nintawo Yuwata, who scored 481,370 votes during the March 18 governorship election. Now, his victory was, however, nullified by the appeal court despite being reaffirmed at the election tribunal. Joseph Adudu is a journalist who has been tracking the situation in Plateau State, and he joins us now for some input. Welcome to Newsday, Joseph. It's a pleasure to have you. Let's get straight into the issues at hand. As we've heard from all sectors of society at this stage, one of the arguments against the PDP's further appeal, taking it to the Supreme Court, and of course the subsequent sacking of some of the PDP lawmakers in the state, is that a similar thing happened to the APC in Zamfara State in 2019. What are some of the merits to this comparison? Can we really compare these two cases?
Thank you very much for having me this afternoon. And to answer your question straight, I think there is no basis for comparison. Because in the case of Zamfara, you have two factions, and that is to say members of the same political parties, who went to court. And then there was a judgment coming from two different, courts. And eventually that case went to Supreme Court. And then in the end, the Supreme Court held that there was no primary election. I mean, the party did not conduct primary election. And so it affected both, factions of the APC in Zamfara then. And here in Plateau State, it's not the case. The case of Plateau State, of course, is in 2020, a judgment was delivered, in favor of Honorable Bitrus Kazi, and to the effect that a repeat Congress should be held, which was done in September 25th, 2021. Now, at the end of that Congress, there was no challenge by those who, contested in that Congress. And I know that Bitrus Kazi, who vied for the position of the chairmanship, even congratulated the winner, Honorable Chris Adukochili, Hassan. Now, thereafter, he did not challenge that Congress, and there is no court that set aside on account of any other person approaching the court, challenging the outcome of, that Congress. So it is entirely a different, scenario. And let me also put this on record. I know that a dangerous narrative is being sent to the media space, and it has misled so many people, including legal practitioners, to the effect that PDP did not, comply with the Justice SP Gang order. It is totally wrong. It is totally wrong. And that is what is being put to the media space. Now, it is not in question that the order of Justice Gang was obeyed, because at the trial tribunal, even the petitioners, that is the APC, and its candidate, confirmed that indeed PDP, conducted a repeat Congress. Because while INEC and PDP submitted INEC report that monitored that election, the APC too equally submitted its own report purportedly from INEC. Now, the only difference between the document submitted by the APC and its candidate and that of PDP is the last at the last page. The APC is saying that the Congress was not done in full compliance with Justice SP Gang, but the front page of the INEC report, both the one submitted by APC and the one submitted by the INEC and PDP, reads the same thing. comprehensive report of repeat Congress, PDP repeat Congress, date 21st August 2021, venue, Langsfield Hotel, Rayfield, Jos. Now, the question that is begging for answers by many is that, can somebody who was not a party, who is not even a party member, and has not participated in the Congress, challenge the outcome of that Congress? The question is that, what happened to those who contested that Congress, especially Bitrus Kazi and co? Did they challenge the outcome of that Congress? The answer is no. So that is the situation. That is the difference between the issue of Plateau and that of Zamfara.
All right, then, when we look at Governor Muftuang expressing his determination not to abandon the people of Plateau State despite the election nullification, as a journalist tracking the situation in the state, what reactions or statements have been issued by political parties, stakeholders, or other prominent figures in Plateau State regarding the Court of Appeal's decision, and how is that in itself influencing public opinion on the backdrop of the governor's statement, especially when you refer to what is being pushed in the media? So this statement coming from the governor, how exactly is it influencing public opinion in the state at the moment?
No, the governor is right from day one. The people of Plateau State, from the feelers, did not make a mistake from giving their mandate to Caleb Mutfwang. Of course, I think this election has further shown that indeed democracy is growing, because most of the decisions taken, especially by the people of Plateau State, was based on informed position. They scrutinized the candidates that contested that election, and they came at the conclusion that on Caleb Mutfwang as their choice. Now, they have that trust in him, and it became a thing of worry when the decision of the Court of Appeal, began to upturn the popular will of the people. And so one thing you will give it to the governor is he's consistent. The address by the people on Saturday is not the first. He has done that immediately after the Court of Appeal, upturned the elections of some members of the National Assembly. So this is not the first time he's doing it. He has always done that, being a man of peace. Now, what I also want to say here is that the feelings of the people of Plateau State. Now, democracy is all about the people. And that is why everything around regarding democracy revolves around the people. Government of the people, for the people, by the people. And one major difference between democracy and other forms of government is that freedom of choice, freedom of expression, which was done by the people of Plateau State. Now, the feeling is of the people of Plateau State is that of disappointment, a feeling of disenchantment, taking into account what happened. And some of those who were able to give out press statement or granted interviews to journalists have expressed their minds to the effect that, well, if care is not taken, that is, if the court will continue to determine winners of election, then the essence of democracy is defeated. You can imagine a situation in Plateau State where you have a person winning election in federal constituency, a constituency that consists of 32 federal wards, winning in 31. And the person that won in only one is now the representative of the people. Now, I must also make this clear, and this makes me wonder, what really informed the decision? What did the Court of Appeal, hold to arrive, at upturning that election? We are at the lower, tribunal. I know all the documents relied upon by the APC in the petition involving John Dafan and Azikwalu, Mekang, Shandam, Pampan, federal constituency. All the documents the APC relied on had to do not with the election of that constituency, but that of the Southern Senatorial Zone, including the declaration of result. Now, it may also surprise you to know that in one of the prayers by the petitioners, was that the tribunal should, order the first respondent, which is INEC, to issue certificate of return to the second respondent, which is Azikwalu. Now, the question is that why did you go to court in the first place? Now, it is this kind of, the kind of petition that at the Court of Appeal, it didn't take the judges 5 minutes to give it to the APC. Again, this calls for, it's a source of worry for the people of Plateau State. Now, the people are also complaining that even in the governorship, where in the case of Nasarawa, some of the evidences given by the witnesses was expunged in line with Section 285, subsection 5 of the Constitution, Section 132, subsection 7 of the Electoral Act, and paragraph 4 and paragraph 14 of the first schedule to the Electoral Act. Now, which states that all statements on oath must be filed alongside with the petition. That is the position of the law. Now, the Court of Appeal, in the case of Nasarawa, stated that, look, the lower tribunal was wrong to have, admitted these evidences, and then it went ahead to expunge it from its record. Now, the reverse is the case in the case of Plateau State, where Justice, the governorship panel, in the case of some witness statement on oath of some witnesses that were not front-loaded, and that is to say they were not filed, in alongside the petition within the stipulated time, were expunged by the lower tribunal. But here on the appeal, they were readmitted, and the appeal tribunal said that the APC was not treated fairly by the tribunal for expunging the evidences of these witnesses. So you can see the conflicting decision of the same Court of Appeal. And that again
now,
has
if I may just interject
made
at
the
this
people of Plateau
moment,
State feel bad about it.
One of the major developments, of course, is the fact that all of the PDP lawmakers have now been sacked. Now, very quickly before we go, how much do you think the cases of the lawmakers will impact, or rather, because we can't, preempt what the Supreme Court will do, but how intrinsically tied are the cases of the governor and those of the lawmakers? Does the end of the fate of the lawmakers mean that the governor's case is a similar situation, that an outcome will be similar, without preempting, of course, an outcome?
No, I doubt very much. You see, there are a plethora of cases decided by the Supreme Court, and without sounding prejudice or trying to since it is still before the Supreme Court, I doubt if the Supreme Court will contradict itself, because it has never. Even this year alone, we know a lot of cases that similar cases that were decided by the Supreme Court, and were considered as pre-election matters, which they are anyway. And even in the Court of Appeal, we know the case of the Southern Borno, where Justice Nwansu Eheme, handled. And the fact of the matter were the same. The Southern Zamfara House of Reps, where the APC challenged the PDP to the effect that on the issue of nomination and sponsorship, and also the fact that the PDP in Borno State did not obey Supreme Court order. But what did Justice Nwansu say? Say that by the Section 285, subsection 1 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, the tribunal is a special court that is set up to determine whether one was validly elected. She went ahead to say that the scope of jurisdiction given by the Constitution cannot be expanded to include the determination of validity of party primaries or Congress. That is the position of the law. So I know that what has happened at the appeal court, the Supreme Court, being a court of policy and having people of experience, and also having people, or having taken a lot of decisions that are similar to this one will not contradict itself.
Right, Mr. Joseph Adudu, a journalist from Plateau State who's been tracking the developments of the appeal court judgments. Thank you so much for your contribution to Newsday today.